All right, so the 7 best Denver Broncos heading into this game. We start with probably the most important. I don't know that he's the best, but he's the most important, and that would be Teddy Two Gloves, Teddy Bridgewater. If they have any chance, they're going to need a very good game from Teddy Bridgewater. He is indeed going into this game as more of a game manager at this point in the Denver Broncos season. He owns a 26-16 record. He had a 4-11 mark with the Panthers, which was not good. He was with the Vikings, the Saints, now, of course, with the Broncos. Now, he's a guy that doesn't turn the ball over a ton, but I feel like you might be able to get after Teddy Bridgewater a little bit in this game because, as we mentioned earlier, this is a pretty beaten-up Denver Broncos offensive line, and I'm very hopeful that Randy Gregory and company can make this a long day for Teddy Two Gloves at the office.
Yeah, I feel confident that the pass rush is going to be working pretty well. When you look at their grades in pass protection from a win rate standpoint that ESPN does, or just their grades from Pro Football Focus general pass protection, they're kind of right there in the middle of the pack. But we know how these grades can go, and they're not always necessarily correct. When you watch them play, you would feel like, okay, the Broncos are a bottom half of the league team when it comes to protecting the quarterback. So I think Randy Gregory could have himself quite the outing.
Yes. 435 said, that bleeper can't roll left, put Diggs on the right, and let's go. That's a great text.
I do like that.
That's very good.
I like that quite a bit.
Cortland Sutton, though, has been outstanding for them. The SMU Mustang and former Cowboy target. If you remember going into that draft, there was a lot of hype that the Cowboys were interested in Cortland Sutton. They were working him out pre-draft. They were interested in wide receivers in that class. Now he's coming off of that ACL injury, 6'4", 216 pounds, big old receiver. He's averaging 15.2 yards a catch. He's got 12 touchdowns in 41 games. He's coming off several really good games. He's kind of become Teddy Bridgewater's favorite target. Now, Jerry Jeudy's only played 2 games this year. He got hurt the first game of the season. He was having a really good game against the Giants. And then last week, he caught all 4 of his 4 targets. Jerry Jeudy would be the other player that we mentioned in this one as well. Both outstanding receivers. But Cortland Sutton right now definitely seems like the one you're going to want to focus a little bit more on. But Jerry Jeudy is an outstanding route runner. We knew that coming out of Alabama. Certainly has not lived up to expectations, much like CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson of that same draft class have. But Jerry Jeudy, I do believe, has a very good career ahead of him. And that, if they can get a legitimate quarterback and the two stay healthy together, that could end up developing into quite the 1-2 punch there in Denver as one of the better wide receiver tandems in the NFL for the next handful of years.
Yeah, and Jerry Jeudy's been banged up this season, so we'll see what he does now that he's kind of getting back in the thick of things. Cortland Sutton's been a stud, but I actually saw a prominent fantasy guy this week have him as a must-sit and potential bust player. So I don't know how that makes you feel.
As Jerry Jeudy?
No, Cortland Sutton.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, if Mr. Diggs is on him.
And at this rate, with the way Anthony Brown's playing, I feel kind of confident either way.
I can't say that you're wrong. Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, quite the 1-2 punch at running back. Again, without the offensive line, though, that could minimize them. And I'm really impressed by the way the Cowboys handled Dalvin Cook last week. It makes me fear that tandem much less. I will say, though, the player that I would be nervous about in the secondary that I respect a ton in this game for Denver is Justin Simmons. Yes. Rangy, ball hawk, center fielder. I mean, if you could handpick a safety to put on really any defense, I think that needs a safety, Justin Simmons is the prototype free safety in today's NFL. He can play deep middle. You can put him near the box. He's all over the place. Justin Simmons, certainly, if you give him the opportunity, he can make life very, very hard on you, and Dak Prescott is going to have to make sure that he knows where 31 is lined up at all times.
Yeah, but if Justin Simmons goes hard, we go harder.
We go harder. And then you also have Patrick Surtain, who was the apple of my eye. I love him dearly. It's good to see that he is doing very well in the NFL. It is not a surprise. But, heck, we did come away with Micah Parsons, and we're very happy with that and how that turned out. But they're kind of the best Denver Broncos players coming into this game. You got 2 on defense. You got Justin Simmons. You got Patrick Surtain. You've got their running backs. You've got the two receivers in Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. And then can you get a good game out of Teddy Two Gloves? That's what Broncos fans are probably hoping. But from a Cowboys standpoint, you got to be licking your chops if you're Randy Gregory and you're Osa Digizua and even Micah Parsons and the rest of that front seven, that you can try and wreak havoc and get after it against what is not a very good, at least at this point of the season, offensive line for the Denver Broncos.
To revert back to the noon start and what it does to the schedule for others being Cowboys fans, 435 says brunch was created for noon games.
That is very true.
Give me a Bloody Mary. Let's go Cowboys.
Let's get it.
214, though, says that they hate it because they have to rush home after a morning deer hunt. So the good news is they got Babe and Brad, and so they'll be well taken care of in the car ride home before they get back to the tube. And then the 817 says noon games are stressful for me personally because I'm a courier and I go to Louisiana and Arkansas every Sunday. Sports radio and data is spotty and only have
could we get the signal.
Antenna at home. Yeah, so I mean that's when you just bust out the old smartphone, you hit that Odyssey app, and you crush hard with Brad and Babe.
Yeah, that's the good thing now is we're able to stream the games on the Odyssey app. So hopefully that app works and holds true to form for you.